advocating to fix this essentially since like 2018. Unofficially and over time, I've gotten on the government board. One of the boards I'm on is the San Francisco Public Utilities Citizens Advisory Board. We advise the city on the power outages and try to get them to do the right thing, that they haven't for 25 years. They don't care about the people that live there, because if they cared, they would put a stop to the outages. Just this year alone, we literally have had 5 outages. So that really equates to one like every other week for the most part, and that's what's been happening for 25 years on Treasure Island. But Treasure Island actually is owned by the city and is part of San Francisco, and the grid is owned by the city, not PG&E. This is not PG&E's fault. This is the city's dysfunction. Even though they have the money and the resources and the knowledge to do so, it's like really unfortunate. They essentially told the black and brown people that live there that they don't matter. They don't deserve the basic functions of government. The government gives you electricity, the government gives you water, and the government provides you with sewage. SF government are failing the people on Treasure Island and have failed them for 25 years and has told them for 25 years, just wait until your neighborhood is redeveloped. When Gavin Newsom talked about Treasure Island during COVID, where they told us all to stay home, he singled out Treasure Island as one of the top zip codes that needed focus. So if the government can force you to stay home, then the government should provide you with reliable electricity.
To the residents of this island that have been patient beyond imagination and hope and expectation we would get to this point. My friends in labor, to all of those that are looking forward to the groundbreaking, which we hope is sometime next year. You know, it's pretty remarkable. This is a small 47.5, 49 square mile city. And about 10% of our land happens to be on 3 principal areas. All 3 of them former naval bases. Out there in Hunters Point, and of course the Army out on Presidio, and here on Treasure Island. 2,500+ acres. Went out in the 70s and the 80s and the 90s. And since then, for the last few decades, we've been talking about revitalization. We've been talking about reconstituting these pieces of property. Just 2 weeks ago, I had the pleasure and privilege of signing 12 pieces of legislation marking our efforts over the course of 2 decades in Hunters Point, where we signed documents not only transferring that property, but creating a framework, an economic development framework for 10,500 new housing units, 32% of them below market, hundreds of thousands of square feet of new retail space, 300 acres of new parks and open space. Extraordinary and historic moment. We have been talking about this since 1993. Informal process that began this BRAC process, the formal negotiations in 1994. The Navy ceased operations formally here in about 1997. We're standing remarkably on a WPA project where folks went out there and started taking sand and rubble and rocks and put this new landfill out here. It was all for the World's Fair, 1939 and 1940. And then it was supposed to be converted, only imagine, as an airport. This was San Francisco Airport. Luckily, there was some wisdom, and that vision did not take shape.
Congress recognized the potential for Treasure Island to remain a vital piece of our nation's region's success and future. Today, on the basis of this great history, Treasure Island officially enters its next chapter, this time as a center for jobs and economic development. Thanks to the agreement between the Navy and the City of San Francisco, we can now move forward on plans to build essential infrastructure, open space and parks, hotels and affordable housing for local residents, and very respectful of the residents who are already here. Thank you for being with us today. Remaking Treasure Island will mean significant contributions to industry central to San Francisco's economic vitality, tourism, retail, restaurants, and entertainment, and manufacturing. This project adopts innovative practices to extend our leadership in sustainability. The mayor and the secretary have already mentioned them through green building standards, congestion management, innovative stormwater treatment, and infrastructure that reduces energy use.
The people of Treasure Island, just like anyone else in the city, deserve access to reliable electricity.
And just so people know, we are actually on Treasure Island right now, right here in the middle of the San Francisco Bay Area, in between San Francisco and Oakland. Where are we at right now specifically on the island?
So if you point kind of back out the back window real quick, you'll see that those are the brand new redevelopments. They're multi-million-dollar condos. This area is basically going to turn into the new Manhattan, but out here in San Francisco. And that means these people up here that just moved here basically about 2 years ago got access to reliable electricity, new infrastructure, and they've only been here.
Wow, look, there's Alcatraz right there and Angel Island. Safe to say this is going to be a really nice place to be in the future, and there's all this construction and development going on, and they can't figure out the electricity.
The decision that gets made on how the island is going to be developed gets done by Robert Beck, the director of TIDA.
I went to a few parties here before, actually. They got a lot of things happening at this building. What are some of the things going on?
So there is a new bar that opened out here, which is really nice. There's not actually been a bar out here for forever because of the rules that TIDA made up, where they said they couldn't allow people to drink alcohol out here because of their demographics, and they just wouldn't permit it. But now that richer folks are out here, they're allowing them to drink, where the administration lies, the one that dictates everything that happens to the island. So this is like the White House of the island, and Bob Beck is like the president. He's technically the director, but you know the nuance I'm trying to explain. He's basically the unelected bureaucrat that determines if we do or don't have reliable electricity. And this is, again, some more new development here. Obviously,
That looks like a really old church.
Yeah, so they're leaving like churches and other buildings like the administration building here and upgrading them just for historic reason. But every other building is getting essentially leveled for the most part. There's nuance to that, but this new building, it's about $4,000 a month to live in a unit there. This other building is like the BMR's below market rate. Similar to the tower, there is below market rate apartments. Now we got rich people living out here, they're upgrading it.
How much do you think it is to live here?
It's about like $4,000 for the smallest apartment here. The power goes out when these really rich folks live here. You know they're gonna pull out the lawyers and start suing like crazy and actually hold these people accountable. But the crazy thing about accountability here is at the state, federal, and local level, there is none. That's why it hasn't got solved.
And that's what we're essentially here today for, is mainly the lack of infrastructure. And I guess Treasure Island has had the most blackouts out of any place in our country, which is actually insane, considering it's technically in Silicon Valley and they have all these developments going on. What's going on with the power grid here on the island?
So the power grid on the island was made by the military like during World War II. So a lot of people get mistaken for military standards. Sometimes military standards doesn't mean that it's actually built well. It's built cheaply and quickly. Of this, the reason that the outages happen is not because that San Francisco Public Utilities doesn't know how to provide electricity. It's not because TIDA doesn't know how to upgrade the grid. It's not because of those things. It's because they don't want to and they don't care. They have the money, the means, and the supplies and everything to get it done. They just don't care. So a big thing right here. So we're about to cross over into like the projects. So in front of us is the projects that they don't care about, and behind us is the rich development. And I don't say that facetiously, and I don't say that as something that's not true. There's a line now that divides this community, a red line like they would call it, where black and brown people are disenfranchised and the new people are not. 9th Street kind of divides the island. So,
and really quick, just so the audience understands who we're dealing with, his name is Bob, correct?
Robert Beck, but yeah, Bob Beck.
looks here like there's some kind of homeless encampment. Is it safe to say fentanyl has had a negative impact on Treasure Island as well?
Yeah. Actually, when I lived on Treasure Island, my direct neighbor on Osborne Court, my direct neighbor overdosed and died. When I mean direct neighbor, I literally mean the person that I shared a wall with and I saw essentially every single day.
The guy
OD'd and died in his apartment.
from fentanyl.
From fentanyl.
That's insane. What's it like living on Treasure Island? Is there a McDonald's?
No McDonald's, no chain restaurants. There's like Articelli's, there's like a winery, a little small one. There's Mercedes. They're good little restaurants, they're cute. And like in some ways Treasure Island is like a cute little area, a little small town. So like even just a week or so ago, they lost gas. When the gas goes out, like they did and have an outage and a leak, they can't heat the water in their homes. They can't cook food in their homes. That is how serious it is out here. It's colder out here because it's a little island in the middle of the bay. So imagine you not only can't power your house, you can't heat your house with electric heaters, but then your gas goes out, so now you can't cook food, you can't have a normal warm shower. Like
Next thing you know, your family's back to the dark ages, essentially.
yeah, in one of the forward-leading areas in the world, if not obviously the state. Like, how the hell could we land a rocket from outer space, but we can't keep the power on in the richest areas in the world? How the hell can we not allow people to cook their food in one of the richest areas in the world?
And then just over yonder on the horizon is the San Francisco skyline. There seems to be a significant infrastructure problem. What are like 5 things you'd like to see done on Treasure Island?
The most basic one is reliable power. It's not like we're asking for a new giant stadium or something crazy to be built. We're not asking even maybe for more stores. We're not asking for a gas station. We live in, again, the richest area in the world. And we're just kind of asking to have electricity. Like, it's like a third world country level of utility service. To provide reliable electricity, I would make sure there's a gas station or electric charging station for Teslas. I would make sure that every person that lived out here had access to a food pantry. I would make sure that everyone out here had access to a school. There's no school on the island. They took it away, which makes all the children have to go off the island to get education, which I would bring a school back. I
We could have a school out here.
No, so they're a little island neighborhood and they gotta commute off with buses. So if the bus breaks down, which it does, if there's people blocking the bridge that are these, get a little political, all this stuff is political, but if people wanna protest and stop people from crossing the bridge while they're trying to get to the hospital, they could be stopping kids going to school and stuff too. So it's a little island, literal isolation.
This island is completely dependent upon the Bay Bridge.
100%. Pan to the right, this infrastructure, I want to start with, it was not built for the current residents. It was built for the redevelopment so the new rich people can have reliable electricity. It's basically a power substation. Think of it like kind of like the charger.
So they built a power substation next to the projects to power the rich people buildings. Meanwhile, the people in the projects have no electricity and they're living directly next to this power plant.
Correct. Robert Beck is not only perpetrating institutional racism, but he's allowing it to continue by design. None of this is by accident. None of this is by mistake. The literal land use laws that they passed and implemented even last year, this road that we're on, to the left, rich people live, to the right, poor people live. Basically an area that doesn't have any federal, local, or state level oversight. So if you live over here, essentially,
There's the grocery store.
Yeah, there's one grocery store that opened a few years ago. Great that they did it, because the most disenfranchised people are moved out to a little isolation island and containment zone. And some people will call this a nuclear island too, in the sense that there's nuclear waste, there's chemical waste out here that they had to clean up.
We all have to be more efficient We're all taxpayers. We all want to make sure our money is being well invested, not wasted. We want more efficiency. We want more focus on outcomes, not inputs.
But they focused on the new area before the old area, and there was a ton of issues with that. I could talk about that forever too. But this is Treasure Island. This is where the people that have lived here for 25 years have made their own little community and have dealt with over 505 outages. This community has experienced at least 505 outages. That's insane. In one of the richest
Sometimes
areas.
more, like multiple outages in a day.
Yeah, multiple outages in a day, multiple outages in a week. It's just insanity out here in that relation. And as you can see, it's kind of a peaceful community, but they're just not taking care of it. They act like they care about black and brown people. They act like PG&E is the worst. They are PG&E. They are the worst, and they're doing everything, literally.
How do I get out?
Top button there. I know it's a little confusing. I'm gonna. I like how upgrade the park here too, because like basically all these things were broken here too. So I was like, hey, the kids need somewhere to play. The little restaurants out here, it's great. It's a good brunch spot. You want something chill that no one knows about. I know I'm kind of exposing it, but nice little chill spot. Get some dinner, get some brunch. I love it out here. Nothing more wholesome than this little restaurant. They deserve the support to stay open. Infrastructure out here just exposed some children.
This doesn't look too safe.
Yeah, it's not very safe.
I'm not an electrician, but I gotta say,
Exposed to the elements.
exposed open wires, probably not family friendly.
Not family friendly. And like we said, do they care about the kids out here? They care just letting this wire just hang? Do they care to clean this up? Like it's basic governance. On Treasure Island, you know, it's super beautiful. It is actually peaceful. I recommend people coming out, giving it a look. Oh, let's not fall into the water. But I miss the days out here where I would just chill, watch the sunset. It's beautiful. It's like the Gulf of the Bay, basically. That's what I like about it. I don't know if you guys saw my shirt. It's like Gulf of America.
Yeah, man.
Because
Nice
you know,
shirt.
America does defend the Gulf. Does Gavin Newsom care about the women and children that have lived here for 25 years? Do they care about the black and brown and poor people that live out here that literally just want reliable electricity so they can go to school remotely during COVID? They didn't do anything during COVID when they trapped us in our homes. The government said stay home, but they won't keep the power on. The government gave money to random things, but they wouldn't do it to keep the power on. If a global pandemic where the government forces you into your home doesn't solve a power outage issue, if a presidential declaration by Biden during the winter storms doesn't get them to do anything, that's insane. They don't care about the women and children that live out here. They don't care what the despair that they have to go through. They don't care about the spoiled food. They don't care about literal shit backing back up into people's apartments. They don't care. Does Gavin Newsom care? Then let him Breed care enough? Did the Board of Supervisors care enough? Did Biden care enough? Did they give a fuck about it? I don't think these people should get away with this. It's ridiculous. So I'm calling on Trump and any Republicans, Fox News, anyone that actually cares. I want to meet President Trump and I want to shake his hand and say, will you help Gavin Newsom provide reliable electricity to the women and children of one of the poorest zip codes in the whole entire state? President Trump, do you think that the people on the island deserve reliable electricity? I think you're a man of the people, and that's what's important. We have these discussions, we're bipartisan, we care about solving problems. Please send in the National Guard.
That's where Gavin Newsom lives.